K98talk.com, a leader in internet radio. So grab your seatbelts and take the ride of your life on K98 Talk. K98talk.com, a leader in internet radio. So grab your seatbelts and take the ride of your life on K98talk.com.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. You and I have a rendezvous with destiny.
You know what time it is, so sit back and get ready for the Stafford Voice, your dose of conservative in a world of liberal.
3, 2, 1.
Hey, good evening. Man, you know what? I hope you are having a great time. You know what? I'm your host, Daniel Stafford, and you are listening to The Stafford Voice, where we are, yes, conservative in a world of liberal. Tonight, wow, we've got a lot of stuff lined up. We're going to talk about Hillary Clinton and the cackle around the world. We're going to talk about bacon and how it causes cancer. What the hell? New mammogram screening criteria. I don't know what's up with that. Yes, we're going to have some campaign roundup. We'll have some on this day in history. It's a really cool one. I actually enjoyed putting this one together and putting a little bit of research into it. That one was fun. Yes, obviously, somebody out there was a crybaby, said something that showed how stupid they are. And if you can muster up the courage to stick around a little later, you're going to hear my mad rap skills. That's right. I probably shouldn't have told you it was me, because you probably won't stick around. But you know what? Just wherever you're at, set this channel as a favorite. There are so many different ways to listen. Whatever you have to do, we don't want you to get left behind. And if for some strange, crazy reason you do miss the show, you know all you have to do is head over to Spreaker, look for the Stafford Voice, click follow. You will be alerted whenever we go live. You'll also be able to catch the replay. It'll be right there at the push of a thumb. It'll be right there on your phone, whatever your smart device is. So wherever you're at, just sit tight. There's no need to panic. I've got you. And in the case you aren't already following on social media, well, shame the hell on you. You can find me over on the Twitters at Stafford Voice. Again, that's at Stafford Voice. You can find me over on Facebook as well. All you got to do, just search for, yep, you guessed it, the Stafford Voice. While you're over there out on the interwebs, follow all of my good buddies with Politainment. You got Artist Angie. You've got Sam, a.k.a. Polita Bunny, or whatever she's going by today. Also, good old Pointless Poll. I mean, kudos to that guy. If you didn't hear, yeah, he's getting married. For the longest time, I thought he was married, and then he sprung that news on us, and while we were heartbroken, I knew that he was taken off the market. Anyway, speaking of off the market, ladies and gentlemen, my good buddy Jason. I love that guy. He has a heart of gold, and he is absolutely flippin' hilarious. The guy keeps me on the straight and narrow. I absolutely love Jason. You guys got to check out According to Me with Jason and Sam. They are on Wednesdays every week. Also, make sure you send some love to the station or whichever affiliate you're listening through. You can also stay up to date with anything and everything over at politainment.net and thestaffordvoice.com. Now, I'm not going to bore you with, since you're already there filling out the survey, I'm not going to do that. I've asked you to do it so many times, and most of you, I think, have filled it out multiple times. So thank you, and I love you, each one of you, for it. But I love each one of you more because I don't know if you know this, but this show is listener-supported and listener-funded. Can't do it without each one of you that's listening right now. And a lot of it is because you guys love shopping on Amazon. And being that you're over on the websites so much, Politainment or the Stafford Voice, whenever you get that itchy feeling like you're tired of reading all the good content or watching any of the videos or listening to any of the podcasts, you click one of the Amazon banners, you go over, you catch up on some Christmas shopping. Since it's like 2 months away, holy criminy, it's right around the corner, and wow, you've got to find something for your loved ones. You're already shopping on Amazon, so you've clicked the banner, and that's one of the ways that you guys have shared your love and kept us on the airwaves. Enough of that boring stuff. That's not why you guys are here. You guys are here because you want to hear something. You want to learn something. Also, you probably want to get mad. You want to cry. You want to laugh. And, well, you're probably going to throw whatever it is you're listening to, because later on, I honestly couldn't believe that this a-hole said what he said, but we're going to save that for the end. As we jump into things, I want to touch on something. Excuse me, here in the Midwest, my allergies are killing me with all of the fall stuff that's going on and the leaves changing. It's absolutely beautiful outside, but one of the downfalls is allergies, and I every day I wake up with 5 pounds. I don't even know where it comes from. 5 pounds of nasty, yucky stuff, and I got to get rid of it, and today it's a bad day. Anyway, George Washington, his farewell address back in 1796, he warned us about the love of power and how it tends to create some despotism unless there are proper checks and balances. And you have to have a limit to the power of government as well. And he said, I quote, "It is important, likewise, that the habits of thinking in a free country should inspire caution in those entrusted with its administration to confine themselves within their respective constitutional spheres, avoiding in the exercise of the powers of one department to encroach upon another. The spirit of encroachment tends to consolidate the powers of all the departments in one, and thus to create whatever the form of government, a real despotism. A just estimate of that love of power and proneness to abuse it, which predominates in the human heart, is sufficient to satisfy us of the truth of this position. The necessity of reciprocal checks in the exercise of political power, by dividing and distributing into different depositories, and consulting each the guardian of the public weal against invasions by the others, has been evinced by experiments ancient and modern, some of them in our own country and under our own eyes." So again, what he's talking about there is he's explaining that if we're not careful, all of these different houses of government, these different forms of government, whether it's the judicial, the executive, the legislative, whatever the form of government it is, whatever branch of government, if we don't have enough of the proper checks and balances and we don't utilize them the way that they are put together, if we don't use them and we don't create enough checks, it's going to be a them versus us. And sadly, I think that's kind of where we're at now. It's everybody in Washington versus everybody else, us common folk. And you just have to be situationally aware of what's going on. And one of those things was last week, Hillary Clinton she got sent back to Washington, and we had another hearing on what happened in Benghazi. Now, there were 11 plus hours of audio. Hopefully, I've condensed it in. I condensed 11 hours of audio down into about 10 minutes. I'm not going to play 10 minutes because I went through that 10 minutes and I even condensed it a little farther. But what I've got for you tonight is the best of what happened during the Hillary Clinton Benghazi hearing. And it's going to highlight the best and the worst of what happened. It's sad to say that, I teased about this in one of the show teasers over the weekend, that it's not over until the Clinton Cackles. Well, it pretty much was over before it even started, because her whole demeanor, sitting there and getting ready to be eviscerated by Trey Gowdy, and God love that guy. That guy's a powerhouse. I mean, I'm sitting here, I was watching some of the footage of what was coming out, and it was absolutely mind-boggling at some points, but absolutely fascinating. It was almost like a scene out of when Jack Nicholson he A Few Good Men, and he says, "You want the truth?" and then he just goes into it and lays it all out. I mean, his opening remarks was absolutely fascinating. So I want to play for you what I've put together, and yes, I realize it's about 5 minutes, so I need you to hang in there, because 5 minutes of 11 hours worth of 11 plus hours of testimony really does kind of highlight the good, the bad, and the ugly of what really happened. So check this out.
The fact is, we had 4 dead Americans. Was it because of a protest, or was it because of guys out for a walk one night who decided they'd go kill some Americans? What difference at this point does it make?
Chris Stevens, Sean Smith, Glenn Doherty, and Tyrone Woods served this country with courage and with honor. And they were killed under circumstances that most of us could never imagine. Were there so many requests for more security personnel and equipment, and why were those requests denied in Washington? Public given such divergent accounts of what caused these attacks, and why is it so hard to get information from the very government these 4 men represented, served, and sacrificed for? And so the House of Representatives, including some Democrats, I hasten to add, asked this committee to write the final definitive accounting of what happened in Benghazi. This committee is the first committee to review more than 50,000 pages of documents because we insisted that they be produced. This committee is the first committee to demand access to more eyewitnesses because serious investigations talk to as many eyewitnesses as possible. This committee is the first committee to review thousands of pages of documents from top State Department personnel. This committee is the first committee to demand access to relevant documents from the CIA, the FBI, the Department of Defense, to uncover the fact that Secretary Clinton exclusively used personal email on her own personal server for official business and kept the public record, including emails about Benghazi and Libya, in her own custody and control for almost 2 years after she left. There are certain characteristics that make our country unique in the annals of history. We are the greatest experiment in self-governance the world has ever known. And part of that self-governance comes self-scrutiny, even of the highest officials. Our country is strong enough to handle the truth, and our fellow citizens expect us to pursue the truth wherever the facts take us. And we are going to write that final definitive accounting of what happened in Benghazi. They deserve the truth. They deserve the whole truth. They deserve nothing but the truth. We're going to find the truth because there is no statute of limitations on the truth.
You know, I would imagine I've thought more about what happened than all of you put together. I've lost more sleep than all of you put together.
I heard that night what you're doing, but nowhere in there did you mention a video. You didn't mention a video because there was never a video-inspired protest in Benghazi. There was in Cairo, but not in Benghazi. The attack starts at 3:42 Eastern Time, ends at approximately 11:40 p.m. that night. At 4:06, an ops alert goes out across the State Department. It says this: mission under attack, armed men, shots fired, explosions heard. No mention of a video, no mention of a protest, no mention of a demonstration. Everything points to a terrorist attack, We just heard from Mr. Pompeo about the long history of terrorist incidents, terrorist violence in the country. And yet 5 days later, Susan Rice goes on 5 TV shows, and she says this: Benghazi was a spontaneous reaction as a consequence of a video. A statement we all know is false. If there's no evidence for a video-inspired protest, where'd the false narrative start? Started with you, Madam Secretary. At 10:08, on the night of the attack, you released this statement: some have sought to justify the vicious behavior as a response to inflammatory material posted on the internet. At 10:08, with no evidence, at 10:08, before the attack is over, at 10:08, when Tyrone Woods and Glenn Doherty are still on the roof of the annex fighting for their lives, the official statement of the State Department blames a video. Why?
Excuse me.
So here's what troubles me. Your experts knew the truth. Your spokesperson knew the truth. Greg Hicks knew the truth. But what troubles me more is I think you knew the truth. You had a conversation with the Egyptian Prime Minister. You told him this: we know the attack in Libya had nothing to do with the film. It was a planned attack, not a protest.
Do you know how many security requests there were in the first quarter 2012?
For everyone or for Benghazi?
I'm sorry, yes ma'am. Related to Benghazi and Libya. Do you know how many there were?
No, I do not know.
Ma'am, there were just over 100 plus. In the second quarter, do you know how many there were?
No, I do not.
Ma'am, there were 172-ish. Might have been 171 or 173. That's how many were there in July and August, and then in that week and a few days before the attacks? Do you know?
There were a number of them. I know that.
Yes, ma'am. 83 by our count. That's over 600 requests. You've testified here this morning that you had none of those reach your desk. Is that correct also?
That's correct.
Madam Secretary, Mr. Blumenthal wrote you 150 emails. It appears from the testimony or the materials that we've read that all of those reached your desk. Can you tell us why security requests from your professionals, the men that you just testified, and with which I agree are incredibly professional, incredibly capable people, trained in the art of keeping us all safe, none of those made it to you, but a man who was a friend of yours, who'd never been to Libya, didn't know much about it, at least that's his testimony, didn't know much about it. Every one of those reports that he sent on to you that had to do with situations on the ground in Libya, those made it to your desk. You asked for more of them, you read them, you corresponded with him, and yet the folks that worked for you didn't have the same courtesy.
Excuse me.
Okay, so 11 plus hours of hearing, of testimony, and the only thing that comes out of it is more of the same. Hillary Clinton has more Teflon than 3M. I mean, she's slicker than Teflon Dawn. Honestly. I mean, this broad can get up there knowing that everything she's getting ready to say is a lie. Knowing it. And knowing that that they have prepared the documents to prove that she lied to everyone, that the video was fake. They made it all up. It came from her. Kind of like the whole story about the birther thing with Obama. She started that too, by the way. But Clinton, instead of, so she throws in the towel and starts coughing and, oh, I need water. And there was one point where she just cackles because she's asked a question, and instead of responding, she laughs and makes it a joke. And yes, believe it or not, at one point during the testimony, she's asked a question, and she refers them to her book, Hard Choices. Now, Hard Choices has nothing to do with Bill Clinton in the bedroom. But what was the hardest choice this broad had to make? Telling the truth and saying, look, we screwed up. We screwed up and we didn't give enough security where it was needed. We screwed up and we didn't give our ambassador and our people on the ground the necessary tools to provide for their safety for something that we didn't need to be doing. We were running weapons back and forth. This was Fast and Furious Benghazi style. Not Gangnam style, Benghazi style. But no, her choice, her hard choice for that morning, because it lasted well into the evening and into the early hours of the morning. After she had already talked to diplomats from other countries, from the Egyptian Prime Minister, and said this was an attack. It had nothing to do with spontaneous video or spontaneous anything on the internet. This was a planned flipping attack. This wasn't a mob. This wasn't a flash mob that came by and said, you know what? I've got an extra 30 grenades. Hey, Ahmed, how many RPGs you got? I've got 14. And then Bob over here, oh, stop it. I've got about 14 pounds of C4. I took it from the guy over there. No, ladies and gentlemen. The whole damn thing was planned. It wasn't a spontaneous, combustible thing that happened because they got butthurt over a damn YouTube video. I'd really like to take that YouTube video idea and stick it right up her frickin' keister. But, nevertheless, to calm me down and hopefully to get you guys calm, because I want to talk about bacon here in a couple of minutes. I want to talk about bacon. I like bacon, and I like talking about bacon. I love the smell of it. Hell, if they made bacon scented shaving cream or aftershave or whatever, I'd probably buy it. I love the smell of bacon, and I like the taste of it. I'd probably eat it, but kind of bacon flavored paste. Oh boy, bacon flavored paste. Can you imagine how many little boys in school we would? Oh my gosh. Anyway, yeah, bacon flavored icing. Yeah, you got that one right, Angie. Okay, yeah, bacon flavored glue. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to go to the drawing board on that one. But you know what? I've got something a little special for you. This is a remake of a very, very popular song, and I hope you really get. I really hope you get what was put together in this, because this is absolutely hilarious. Because this is exactly what we learned about what came out of the Clinton testimony. Check this out. Yo, Gowdy, let's kick it. Lies, lies, baby. Lies, lies, baby. All right, stop. Pay attention and listen. Gowdy's back with another investigation. Something grabbed a hold of him tightly, played on the YouTube daily and nightly. Will it ever stop? Said Chris Stevens. Turn out the lights and he died. To the extreme, they rock ideas of a video. Light up a news with some chump on a camel. Dance. Go rush the Gowdy that booms. He's killing her lies like he's supposed to. Deadly. With the lies like a melody. Anyone less than her would be a felony. At this point, what difference does it matter? Gowdy hit bullseye, the kid don't play. See, there was a problem. Yo, he'll solve it. Check out the hook while Granny revolves it. Lies, lies, baby. Clinton. Lies, lies, baby. Clinton. Lies, lies, baby. Obama. Let's get out of here. Word in Benghazi. Lies, lies, baby. Get on. Lies, lies, baby, get old, get old. Lies, lies, baby, get old, get old. Lies, lies. Okay, yes, ladies and gentlemen, lies, lies, baby, they get old. But what would you expect? Ladies and gentlemen, what would you expect from a Clinton? Well, that depends on what your definition of is. Definition of is. Seriously? Oh, I'm sorry, but just thinking about having to talk about the Clintons, it ticks me off. So, that's why I brought you this feel-good story, right? Bacon! Yeah! Bacon! What? Wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute. This has got to be wrong because my notes here that I made for myself. Bacon causes cancer? What the hell? Yes, okay. If you haven't heard already, the World Health Organization has said that processed meats like bacon, sausage, hot dogs, bologna, Spam, that stuff causes cancer. Seriously, they think that causes cancer. But to back them up, there's a group of like 20-some scientists that reviewed the evidence, and they're able to link red meat and the consumption of red meat and processed meat to cancer, and how it increases the risk of colorectal cancer. Okay? How in the hell can this be? Well, supposedly, it's because of the way you cook it. And how, because it produces carcinogenic compounds. So according to these flippin' idiots, bacon is equal to smoking cigarettes or asbestos. Well, as best as I can tell, you're a flippin' moron. Ding, ding, ding. Yes. Smoking cigarettes and asbestos is equal to eating bacon. And now, mind you, these scientists had to go out and spend thousands and thousands of dollars and years in school to get some little piece of paper that they hang on their wall that says they're super smart at taking tests and they passed college. And then again, they've got to be super smart because they went out and got tons of money by way of grants and government funding that supported this whole idea that a sugar molecule found in beef and lamb and pork can be the trigger behind inflammation and causes cancer tumors to grow. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, no. My high school health class told me something different. I'm going to actually believe that person. I'm not going to believe these scientists because, hell, these scientists are probably the same ones that have tried to sell us on the idea that our planet is getting ready to spontaneously combust, or either that or it's just going to freeze into one big block of ice. And anyway, look, weather happens. So yeah, the only thing I get out of this whole stupid ignoramus story about bacon causing cancer, you know what it means? I'm going to flip and die, and I'm going to die eating something I want to eat. I want to eat bacon. I want to eat sausage. I like hot dogs every now and then. And at some point, at the very bottom of this study, and I should have looked at it because at some point at the very bottom of this study, there's probably a caveat that says only if consumed in California, because even drinking water in California causes cancer. I don't know if you know that, but anything and everything in the world causes cancer in lab rats in California. Oh my goodness. You know what? We're going to take a short little break, and to kind of take us out, we're going what we're going to do is I will play for you our little campaign roundup montage, which is, there's hours of speeches and crap that these idiots are out saying on TV and all these different talk shows and radio programs. None of them will come on here. None of them want to come on here. None of them. Not a single one of them. I openly invite them, but so we condense it down into something a little more manageable, so you can kind of get an idea of who they are, what they're saying, so you can make an educated wince when you push the button next to somebody's name, because obviously the right person is not going to get picked for the job. But that's beside the point. What I want to say before we hit that is our good friends over at RWNJ Funding. These guys are absolutely great. If you don't know who they are or what they're doing, unfortunately there are, I don't know how many different crowdfunding sites. Each one of them take a huge portion of what you're able to collect from your different sources. Each one of them takes a huge chunk of that, and they keep it for themselves. They also will kill your campaign that you're running if somebody complains about you because they get butthurt. You've said or done something that has offended someone. Look, those guys over there, they play to the PC crowd. Not our friends over at RWNJ Funding. I can't say enough good things about these guys. These guys have real values, constitutional and libertarian values and ideals. They hold true to them. They don't play the PC game. If somebody gets butthurt, they deal with it. They don't care unless it conflicts, with pornography or something like that. They're not going to. That's not what they're about. These are true down-home conservative libertarian ideals that you could lay down on your kitchen table and let the whole world look at. They're not going to cave in. They're not going to cancel anything. They believe in you so much that for the first 10 signups who reach $100 in contributions, they're gonna put some of their own money where your mouth is. They're gonna give you $10 to help you succeed in doing what you're trying to do. Look, trust me, it's not too good to be true. Head on over to rwnjfunding.com. Again, that's rwnjfunding.com. Tell them TSV sent you, and they will take very, very good care of you. You can start your campaign today. Speaking of campaigns, to take us into break is Campaign Roundup. We'll be right back.
That's amazing. Great. Wow. We're sick and tired of incompetent people running our government. Wow. Beautiful. They have these things called super PACs. Nobody knows what the hell they are, what they mean. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. The super PACs are a disaster. Thank you. Thank you. Nobody's giving me anything. Man. Jeb Bush. Did anybody ever hear of Jeb Bush? This is something special.
I think it demonstrates that she won't be held accountable until we have a nominee in a general election debate who will hold her accountable. She never answered a fundamental question, knowing that this was a purposeful terrorist attack on the night it occurred. Why did you go the next morning and address the American people and talk about a videotape that didn't represent the values of America? And why did you continue to do that over the bodies of the fallen and for many weeks thereafter?
I like people. My wife is a people person. Well, I hope they learn that, immediately after the incident, the emails that she sent to her family and the conversation she had with the Egyptian foreign minister or ambassador were very different than the narrative that was portrayed. She plays fast and loose with the truth. I think judgment also, having a private server and the possibility of compromising the security of our country after having been First Lady for 8 years, a Senator and Secretary of State. If you don't have enough judgment to know better than that, I don't want you with the keys to everything.
Our national debt, $6.5 2.5 years, it's gone from $10 trillion to $18 trillion, larger than our entire economy. Who the heck do you think is going to pay for that? Young people are the ones. If we don't stop what we're doing, the next generation will not spend the coming decades working to meet the challenges of the future, the priorities of the next generation. Our kids will spend the rest of their lives working to pay off the debts of their deadbeat parents and grandparents. No generation in history has ever done that to their kids. Our parents didn't do it to us. Their parents didn't do it to them. You got to communicate in a way. Would it kill Republicans to crack a joke? I actually think some it sort of might. You got to have some fun.
We'll be able to keep your health care plan. This is the most transparent administration in history. Not even a smidgen of corruption.
Fact is, we had 4 dead Americans. What difference at this point does it make?
If you got a business, you didn't build that.
The feeling most people get when they hear Barack Obama's speech, I felt this thrill going up my leg. I don't have that too often.
Steady.
It's time to hear the truth about America's biggest challenges. Ricky Robinson, host of America Off the Rails, will tackle the important issues facing America today as he tries to keep America from coming off the track. Get ready to hear the truth every Monday through Friday starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, and on Saturdays at 12 p.m. Eastern and 11 Central here on K98Talk.com and the Spark Radio Network.
Welcome to the face. Welcome to the face of the new democracy.
Red Nation Rising brings you Town Hall Radio.
From a single tweet to 3 million a month, our community is a force to be reckoned with on social media.
So don't miss our show, Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern on K98 Talk.
Our chat room is our co-host, and you ask the question.
Join us and be heard.
So get ready to sound off on Red Nation Rising Radio. No one else is going to do it for you.
There's a wild, wild whisper blowing in the wind, calling out my name.
Whether you're an employee or business owner, when it comes to the correct course of legal action, it's the first step that is important. And make that first step with attorney Ted Hong. You need someone you can trust and has the experience you need when it comes to workplace and employment law. If you've lost your employment due to discrimination, false accusations, or being denied benefits, you need Ted Hong. Or if you're an employer who wants to ensure compliance with workplace regulations and labor contracts, you need Ted Hong. Ted and his team also cover family and property law and estate litigation as well. Ted has over 30 years of experience, and him and his amazing legal team will provide you cost-effective legal consultation and make the experience all about you and your needs. For more information or to set up a consultation, contact the law office of Ted Hong at 808-933-1919 or visit tedhonglaw.com. Ted Hong, an experienced and principled attorney you can trust. 808-933-1919 or tedhonglaw.com.
I don't know about you, but I'm not the type of guy that jumps into anything without first doing my research. And when I was looking for a holster, I'll admit I was having one heck of a time. You know what I'm talking about here. You find one you like, you try it on, it would be clunky. Another one fits good, but costs way too much. So you try on one last holster, it was slim, lightweight, priced right, but lo and behold, you slide your pistol in, and it falls right out. So what do? You've tried all these mass market holsters. Well, go custom. I know what you're thinking. I thought it too. Too pricey. Wrong. My guy over at Rebel Road Tactical will not only put together the perfect fitting, hand-molded, hand-assembled, custom Kydex holster, but you'll get it at an affordable price. Don't wait. Contact Rebel Road Tactical today at 682-217-4579. Again, that's 682-217-4579. Place your order.
Stop it. It's the dramatic reinvention of Talk Radio.
Here come the spy dolphins.
The only thing that can cure racism is Robert E. Lee's penis.
Who named this cat Limberbutt McCubbin? A Trump-Biden debate.
Plugs versus rugs. Real serious nonsense. The show's so bad, you'll laugh at us.
The worst podcast. We obviously hold that title.
Mondays, 9 p.m. Eastern on K98 Talk.
Call now.
913-440-4889.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. I am your host, Daniel Stafford, host of the Stafford Voice. Whew. Wow, we've packed so much stuff into tonight, and if you're not joining us over in the chat room right now, well, you're just crazy in the head, because there's some good stuff going on over there. Look, the conversation never stops over in the chat room, and, well, you know what? It's like-minded individuals just like you, and they're talking it up. Sometimes they get on a tangent, and so you just got to roll with it. Well, something that is really kind of ticking me off is, and I'm going to get to, I realize that we may have to run over just a minute or two, because this story is a little too close to home for me not to share with you. We'll get to On This Day in History here in just a few minutes. But recently, they have put out new mammogram screening criteria. And I want you guys to know what changed, and in the end, I'm going to give you my recommendation of what I suggest. So let me ask you this: what changed? Well, originally it was said that women should start doing their mammograms, having regular yearly mammograms at 40 years old. Now they're changing this recommendation, and they want you to wait until you're 45. And you have them once a year until you're 54. And get this. And then every other year, as long as you're healthy and it looks like you could live another 10 years. So if you're 60 years old, looks like you're not going to make it to 70, guess what? They're not going to check them. They're not going to check the fun bags. Not going to check the sweater puppets. Not going to handle any of that. They're just going to let them go. Let them sag. Happy and sad. Whatever. So here's the biggie. They no longer recommend clinical breast exams. You know, the ones where the nurses perform the breast exam in the office, checking for lumps, whether it's at the actual breast or in the armpit or above, whatever. The previous recommendation was that those clinical breast exams would start at the age of 19, and you would have at least one once a year, pretty much for the rest of your life. Is everybody in the medical field happy about this? No. There are plenty of doctors, nurses, and plenty of cancer clinics that do not agree with these recommendations. And I'm going to tell you one reason why. Actually, I'll give you 3 reasons. One, a really, really close family friend who, guess what? She was right around 40 when she found her lump. 2, my wife found hers not by herself, but by having a clinical breast exam performed. And she's not even 40 yet. She's 37 years old. And last but not least, my mother. My mom was 37 years old when she found her lump. You know who caught that one? She did. She caught it herself. She was 37 years old. If she would have waited until 40 or even 45, according to these new standards, I'm going to be nice. According to these new criteria, she would have already been dead. She wouldn't even have made it until 40. Her cancer was already so advanced that by the time they went in to perform the surgery, they had to do a radical mastectomy and remove all the lymph nodes, remove both breasts, right on the spot. when the doctors are that concerned, when they open up and they look and they say we have to act now without even asking, you know you had a problem. We're talking stage 4, very, very aggressive cancer. She fought for 9 flipping years. And, you know, kudos to the doctors who did everything they could to help give her some form of calmness to life. But each one of those 3 women in my life, my mother, my wife, and a family friend, 40 years and younger, according to these criteria, nothing would have ever been done. So I'm going to give you my recommendation, and it's going to come as no surprise. My recommendation is this: I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you're 15 or if you're 95. Make sure you check yourself. And that goes to men too. Men and women. Both of you need to check yourselves. Make it fun. Make it something you do to each other. I don't care. Just make sure you're both checking yourselves. I plead with you. If you need help to go out and get a mammogram, or go to the doctor because you're scared and you don't know exactly what you're doing, please reach out to me. We will make sure that you find a way. Okay? We will make sure that you find a way. Now we're going to take our last little break, and when we come back, when we come back, we're going to do On This Day in History. We'll try and buzz through it, and I'm saving probably saving the worst of the worst for the best slot, because this freaking slime ball, I just want to reach through and slap the living crap out of him after he said what he said. But I'm going to be nice, and we're going to take our last break, and when we come back, we're going to cover On This Day in History. It's a pretty cool story, actually. And then we'll do Who Said That. We'll be right back.
K98 Talk is expanding its lineup for 2015. This means we are expanding our advertising base. Whether you're a startup trying to push through to the next level, or an established business trying to supplement your advertising budget, web-based advertising is a solid investment. Thanks to Talk's newest partnership with TuneIn Radio and instant access to our sister station, K98 FM, we give you worldwide access at a reasonable cost. Interested parties should email us at sales@k98fm.com.
This is JD.
And this is Stacy.
Join us Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, for Game On. Remember,
Lock up the children and the old folks.
Game On, the home of libertative conservative,
where no one is safe and no one is spared, not even the hosts.
Oh, that was supposed to be a spin cycle. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. We love you anyway. Right round, baby.
Self-monitoring
right
Ebola
round.
radio strikes again.
Anyway.
Anybody see the host monkey? Where's the host monkey? Where's the host monkey? For God's sake, I need an antidote. Just do your rant. Let's pop out of the segment.
Has to do with
Find us on Twitter at JD and Stacy.
You're listening to K98 Talk.
Not on my watch, our military service members say, as they volunteer to serve, as they move out, stand firm, and take fire. So not on our watch, we say, to the severely ill or injured veterans who can't get the care they deserve to live full and independent lives, even when there's no government funding or a nursing home seems like the only option. We won't leave one warrior behind. Not on our watch. Join us at findwwp.org.
According to me and Bunny, Their show's not big. It's huge!
Mr. Trump, what are your thoughts on how should we go about making sure we can protect innocent life in this country?
We're going to be looking at a lot of different things. And, you know, a lot of people are saying that, and a lot of people are saying that bad things are happening out there. We're going to be looking at that and plenty of other things.
Donald, question right over here. What are you going to do as president in regards to Common Core? What actions are you going to take?
We're going to be looking at a lot of different things. And, you know, a lot of people are saying that, and a lot of people are saying that bad things are happening out there. We're going to be looking at that and plenty of other things.
That is like he can say that for anything.
Yes! It's just insert issue.
A lot of things.
Donald, what are we going to do for lunch?
We're going to be looking at a lot of different things. And, you know, a lot of people are saying that, and a lot of people are saying that bad things are happening out there. We're going to be looking at that and plenty of other things.
It's According to Me and Bunny, Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on K98 Talk.
Conservative in a world of liberal.
The Stafford Voice.
That's right. This is the Stafford Voice, and I'm your host, Daniel Stafford. And it is time for On This Day in History, and this one's really, really cool. Actually, you know, I wish that I could put together a 30-minute spot on this, because this is just a fascinating story. And it kind of starts back in 1877, when they'd first discovered, where silver was first discovered in a town right outside of Tombstone, Arizona. And it quickly grew into one of the richest mining towns over in the Southwest. Well, living on a ranch oh wow, I'm getting so excited telling you about this. I'm getting tongue-tied. Well, living on a ranch outside of town were these two families, the Clantons and the McClarys. They were notorious for being thieves and murderers. Well, on the morning of October 25th, one of the Clantons, Ike Clanton, and his buddy Tom McClary went into town of Tombstone, for some supplies. Because they kind of moonlighted as ranchers or as cowboys during the day, but everybody knew them for being thieves and murderers. Well, all day they had some violent run-ins with the Earp brothers and a friend of theirs named Doc Holliday. Well, on this day in history, October 26, 1881, around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the Earps and Holliday spotted the Clanton-McClary gang out back behind the OK Corral. And get this. I didn't actually know this. I would have thought I would have thought it lasted a little longer. It only lasted about 30 seconds. Between everybody involved, it only lasted about 30 seconds, and there was only about 30 or so shots fired. That famous gunfight went down in history, and nobody really knows who fired the first shot. But when the dust finally cleared and Billy Clanton and the McClary brothers, were dead. Virgil and Morgan Earp and Doc Holliday were wounded. Ike Clanton and Claiborne, they ran for the hills. Didn't stick around. Well, Cochise County Sheriff John Behan, or Behan, well, I don't, Behan, well, whatever, who witnessed the whole thing, he charged the Earps and Holliday with murder. Well, about a month later, after the trial, the Tombstone judge threw them out, or didn't throw them out. Wow. He found them not guilty. And his ruling was that they were, quote, fully justified in committing these homicides. We've all seen the movies. Hollywood tends to dramatize everything, and this is just one of those classic stories that could be told 15 or 20 different times, and each time is going to be as equally great as the other ones. I mean, it's probably the best one out there. Yes, John, was with Kurt Russell in it. But which was a great movie. But on this day in history in 1881 was the shootout at the OK Corral. Okay, now, yes. By the sound of that music, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Who Said That? And if you're new to the show, or even you need a refresher because it's been a while, Who Said That? It doesn't matter whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, a liberal, a conservative, or a libertarian, whatever. None of that stuff matters. If you are saying something so completely stuck on stupid, we're going to call you out on it, and you're going to get spotlighted on our little segment that we call Who Said That? This week, this guy. Oh, woo boy. This guy, I don't know whether he's stuck on stupid or if he just needs a mop to clean up all his little crybaby tears. You know what? We're just going to let you hear from him what he had to say. Check this out.
If this election is about how we're going to fight to get nothing done, then I don't want anything. I don't want any part of it. I don't want to be elected president to sit around and see gridlock just become so dominant that people literally are in decline in their lives. That is not my motivation. I got a lot of really cool things that I could do other than sit around being miserable, listening to people demonize me and me feeling compelled to demonize them. That is a joke. Elect Trump if you want that.
Yes. How about that, Mr. Jeb Bush? Why don't you just drop the hell out of the flippin' race, go back to Florida, go back to Texas, you and your little brother, you can go frolic around town, holding hands, singing Kumbaya, and having mommy and daddy come out and defend your little wrinkly ass, because nobody wants you to be elected president if you are so damn soft-skinned right now because Trump is doing better in the polls than you, and he cracked a joke at you. Or he's starting to call you out. Or he called out your brother. Get over it, and welcome to politics. If you ever had a snowball's chance in hell to get elected to become president, guess what? Your ass would melt because you would never make it in Washington. Never in a million years would you make it in Washington if you get that so damn butthurt because somebody called out your brother or is calling you out. Oh my flippin' word. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry if I blew out your eardrums, but that was the best Hillary Clinton cackle that I could do. Oh my flippin' word. Look, that guy. Oh. I don't know what's worse. What's worse? The Clintons or Jeb Bush? I can stomach listening to Barack Obama talk. Honestly, and you can call me out for it. I don't care. Make fun of me on social media for it. Whatever. I don't care if you make fun of me. I can actually stand listening to Barack Obama talk more than I can stand listening to Jeb Bush or a Clinton talk. And that is the God honest truth right there. Because whenever I listen to Barack Obama, I've got other things playing out in my head, and I'm just coming up with it gives me a way to practice making fun of him. Because look. Nobody out there wants Jeb Bush. Nobody wants the Bush and a Clinton. Okay? Nobody wants Bush. Nobody wants Clinton. And look, if you look at the polls right now, they're going to show you something. They don't want a Washington elitist. Over 50% of the Republican Party is polling in favor of someone who does not have Washington experience. Oh my gosh. Trump, Carson, Fiorina, add up their total. Over 50% of the Republican Party right now does not support someone who is currently in Washington. They want an outsider. They want somebody that can go in who's not afraid, who actually has a set of cojones that they can throw up on the desk and try and make something happen. Oh my flippin' word. Little crybaby. Go play kiss ass to mom and dad and see if they'll go out and buy you a popsicle you can suck on. Anyway. Unfortunately, yes, I'm looking over the time, and that is all we have time for this week. I mean, wow, we packed a lot into this one show, and I'm so thankful for all of you sticking around and listening and hearing what we had to say. God willing, the Stafford Voice, I, your host, will be back next week. You can, yes, follow me over on the Twitters at Stafford Voice. You can look me up on the Facebooks. All you got to do is search for the Stafford Voice. Email your questions, comments, concerns, love mail, hate mail. If you just want to talk, I'll talk. Email them to thestaffordvoice@gmail.com. Again, that is thestaffordvoice@gmail.com. I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I want to thank you so much for your time tonight, wherever you are listening. And until next week, thanks and God bless.